out to see that game with all the balls, or to the wrestling ring best out of three falls. Donny and Randy talking wrestling and sports. We're talking the ball pit. It's the best, of course, 'cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. Donny and Randy, they freaking called it, 'cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. There's no better podcast. They're all shit. Rob watches the Lions every Sunday night. Who even know which team Paul supposedly likes? Tex likes the Cowboys, it's his only shortfall. Jason McLean, just a fan of sports ball. 'Cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. Donny and Randy, they freaking called it. 'Cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. There's no better podcast. They're all shit. With Randy Gilbert as our YouTube sports guy. Donny Cho knows shit about sports, but he'll try. Donny only knows wrestling and MMA. Together these two for the US of A.
Oh, holy shit. We're live, Randy Gilbert. Just like that. Yeah. And you just got done doing a show on Texas Channel. Well,
yeah, and I sat there and
Channel.
Kind of did a little bit of I just sat there on YouTube looking at crap while I waited for this one to go next.
What happened?
I just got on YouTube, just sat there and started watching videos, check out what happened on Raw, check out what happened, any other time. Come to think of it, I need to look at the scores for the Vikings and the Bears.
Yeah, I was deeply involved in a very intense battle in Baldur's Gate 3 that I wasn't sure I was going to win, but I eventually won. And yeah, I came out victorious. I defeated the Dark Elf.
What you're telling me is you were going to forsake the show to beat the Dark Elf.
Oh, no, I already whooped that Dark Elf's ass.
Oh, okay.
So that Dark Elf had it coming, though. She was like evil and shit.
Smack that bitch around. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So here we are. Mm-hmm. Our second episode of the Ball Pit. We've got 6 people in the chat, Randy Gilbert.
We do, don't we?
We're into big leagues now.
Holy shit. 5. Who quit? Y'all quit that. Get back in there.
Yeah, there's Mickey G.
Yep. And got Roger in there.
Roger Blair. Mickey G again. Riley Ivy Forrest.
Yep.
Randy again. Mickey again. Roger Blair again. And yeah, that's a full crowd. That's a full house, baby. Yeah.
We're cooking with Crisco. And this is going to be a flexible show for the most part until we figure out what time frame we want to actually put this thing on at.
Woohoo, 6 people. Oh, man, we're in the big leagues now. Yeah.
Big league, I'm telling you. So,
yeah, see, we're leaving that paranormal cryptid game behind, man. That's that's small fries. That's not even mainstream, Randy. We got to do something more mainstream, hence sports.
Wait. Mainstream? You talking about we're mainstream to start with?
Yeah, man. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and don't get more mainstream than that.
That's
Dallas
true.
Cowboys and Taylor Swift.
Why are we talking about Taylor Swift?
Well, she's all involved in the NFL. Not with the Cowboys, but, she's just there.
She's involved with one
Her face is there,
NFL. Yeah. Which, we don't want to talk about that anyway. I mark myself safe from those two. So,
okay, so let me introduce the topic tonight.
Okay.
So, as you all well know, I know jack and shit about football.
Yep.
I don't know anything about football. So, how fitting would it be that I host a podcast that's talking about football, and I know jack and shit? But I think that's my advantage, Randy Gilbert. Because I don't know any of these people, I don't know any of these names, but you know them all too well. because today we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and you live in that area.
Yeah.
They represent your people.
I still have a bad
Texas representation. And I don't know, for the longest time, the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know much about football, but I do know that the last time they won a Super Bowl, O.J. Simpson was being acquitted. That's a stat that I read. And when I read that, I was like, wow, the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
I'm trying to think if it was that year or the year before.
It said it was the year that OJ got acquitted, and I was like, wow.
Yep.
That's before I even ever got my first pube, Randy Gilbert.
But
and I'm a 45-year-old man.
OJ got acquitted in the middle of the year. Dallas won the Super Bowl in January or February at the latest.
Yeah, no, I said the same year.
So either way, it's been longer than since he got acquitted, no matter what.
Well, my point was it was before I grew my first pube. And considering I'm 40,
stunted growth, okay? I mean,
considering I'm like 45 years old.
Once again, I can't help your stunted growth as a youth. So,
dude, I was 10 at the time when OJ got acquitted. No. I remember I was in the 5th grade during that white Bronco chase because I remember specifically I was in the classroom and they were showing that shit on TV. No. That's when they got acquitted because I remember all the black kids in my school started jumping down all happy and shit.
Yeah. All I know is I'd been in the Army for 5 years at that point, so that'll tell you something.
That's our age difference.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, Randy Gilbert.
Yes, it has.
So I started, I wouldn't say researching, but I started looking around, and I noticed that there have been a lot of memes and a lot of things said about the Cowboys, and I want to get to the bottom of this.
They're all hurtful.
Yeah, because they have this reputation for being gay and all these gay jokes. And I'm so curious because I literally have no idea where this all came from, Randy. But as a someone who's, I'd say, well learned in the world of football, and especially with the Dallas Cowboys, because you are from that area.
Yeah.
I simply have one simple question for you, Randy, and that's this:
why are you gay?
No.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way.
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, I just have to ask.
Why are you gay?
And you can ask all you want because you'll still get no response from me because it's not true. But
where does that come from? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
That it comes from the people who ain't got a real team to start with and never sniffed anything in the last 30 years like we have it. But we've got 5 before that where others do not. So that's once again the petty jealousy of other fans.
Is it jealousy or is it something more? Is there a more specific reason? Because that's a very specific thing.
Well, quite frankly,
where does it come from? Because I legitimately don't know.
It legitimately comes from fans hating each other. Like, I've got nothing nice to say about Philadelphia Eagles fans.
Do you think it was Eagles fans that invented that?
Oh, no, it's not just them. Eagles fans, Redskins / Commander fans, Giants fans, anybody, because quite frankly, Forbes just came out with it. Jerry Jones owns a $13.26 billion corporation.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how much that franchise is worth.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate the man with a passion because he's not a football guy. But I love the man because he knows how to market and build a business. That being said, I just cannot get it out of my head and heart about how he has screwed us over for 30 fucking years.
Randy, I have a legitimate question though. Was he around when the Cowboys were killing it, when they were winning Super Bowls and shit? Was he running it?
He bought them in '89. He fired the legendary Tom Landry. Now that's a whole nother story along, but he fires Tom Landry, brings in his buddy at the time, Jimmy Johnson. Dang right, he's got money, Riley. He got money, and people keep putting money in his pocket. I try not to even watch football at all as far as pros go. I more prefer college, but sometimes if I want to kind of keep track of them, I'll look and see what's going on. Like I watched last Thursday night because I wanted to see how they would do after the trade. And we'll talk about that here in a few too. But he bought him in '89, brought in Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson in '89, or I think it was '89, mid '89. They do what's called the Herschel Walker trade, because we had Herschel Walker as a running back at the time. He trades him off to Minnesota, I think, and maybe Philadelphia, but I think it was Minnesota originally. And he got a boatload of freaking draft picks. Okay. He got, I think, 2 players and a boatload of draft picks. And so we literally, that year he did that, we went 1-15. We literally went 1-15 that year, and that was 1989, I do believe. And it was ugly. It was ugly. We were crap. And Troy Aikman was the quarterback at first, and then they brought in somebody that Jimmy Johnson liked better, so forth, so on, whatever. But Jimmy Johnson built the team. He went out and he was the best talent judge of talent that there was at the time. Jimmy Johnson was the one that did that. Not
this guy.
Freaking, yeah, that guy right there. I didn't load him up because I didn't think I was going to be talking about him. But
I'm loading them up as you, yeah.
He was the one that set it all up. He went out and got Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, who became the triplets in Dallas. Okay. He's the one that went out and used those first round draft picks to get those defensive linemen and offensive linemen that destroyed others for the next 10 years, I mean, they were even though they didn't get into the Super Bowl after the 94 season or whatever it was, they weren't touched. I mean, as far as the rest of they were still there, and they still were threats for another 5 years after that. The problem is, after the second Super Bowl, the 2 in a row, 92 and 93, after they won those, Jimmy leaves because he got sick of Jerry Jones freaking wanting to be, hey, can you let me go out and do the talking for it? Let me, he wanted to be the one that gets all the credit for making everything happen. And he wasn't. Those it
was him that got deserved the credit, right?
That's the dude that did it all right there.
That's the guy that won the Super Bowls.
In fact, the third Super Bowl that happened 2 years after he left, with Barry Switzer as the coach, was with his team. Barry Switzer didn't draft nobody. Barry Switzer, he just walked into a team that was already pre-built for him. Okay. So once that happened, now don't get me wrong, the 80s and the 70s, there was still this fan animosity. If we'd have had social media back then, it would have been happening then too. Okay. It just is the way fans go, because you just hate.
Which fans hate the Cowboys the most?
That's hard to say. Mostly the Eagles and the Commanders now was the Redskins and the Giants, because they're all in division. They're all in our division, and and Steelers fans a little bit maybe too, because we played 3 Super Bowls against them, lost 2 and won 1. So, so you got them, but nowadays it's mainly Philly. It's mainly Philly, and like I said, I got a bunch of Giant fan friends that try to give me crap, but they ain't got no room to talk because the Giants suck too. So,
but it's mainly Philly. But everyone hates Philly. People just hate Philadelphia
in general, especially
it's a shitty city, and I live near Philadelphia, and people in Philadelphia have the reputation for being douches.
Assholes. Yeah, they're straight out assholes most of the time. I know some people that are nice from there, but don't get me wrong, they're few and far between. But yeah, so there you have it. I mean, it's mainly just it's fan banner back and forth, but I've been known to say the same thing back at Philly fans. Obviously, what you green from gangrene because you get choked so much or what? But they've won a couple of Super Bowls in the last couple of years where we haven't.
I get making fun of a team for choking. I get making fun of a team for losing, or even having like a shitty owner or like a shitty quarterback. But then
why are you gay?
Why the gay thing though? Why the gay thing?
I can't help with that. I don't know who came up with that. I think that was a you thing.
This is a me thing.
Yeah, you think you kind of fixated with gay stuff going on.
No, but it's just all over the place. Like there's all these memes, like this one.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they're
wait, no,
trying to
this
poke
one.
fun.
It's Gay Pride Month,
Yep.
so if you're a Cowboys
Yep.
fan, it's your time to shine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's this one. Cowboys fans be like, we might not be in the
I saw that one
playoffs, but
too.
at least we have each other. At least we have each other, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Riley. Yeah.
Randy
that one
still
right there.
supports Cowboys, or is it time to change the team?
No, I'll never change team, but I don't support either because I don't go to the games. I don't buy merchandise. The only thing they can get from me is viewership if I happen to sit down and watch. Outside of that, I'm keeping up with scores and stats, and that's it.
You'll pay attention once they start winning and shit.
Maybe. I mean, it depends because, like I said, there's times I've just gotten so disenfranchised with the NFL itself. That's why I like the college game better.
Mm-hmm.
I've become so I mean, just look at the kickoffs now. I mean, while I like the fact that now the way they're doing kickoffs, it does bring out a chance for an actual run back and stuff like that. What
are they doing differently nowadays?
Well, the back at the 30-yard line or whatever it is where the kicker kicks off at. Mm-hmm. But instead of the everybody rushing down the field and getting a full head of steam at these returners and such and other blockers and stuff, they're actually lined up at, I think, the 40-yard line or some crud like that. So they're 20, 30 yards in front of the kicker now. So, and they can't leave their positions until the ball is caught by the actual receiving team. So,
whereas before they would start running, charging at them as soon as the ball is kicked,
and they're going full blast, and that's how a lot of injuries were happening. So that's a lot of the reason people were they changed this. Is it weird feeling? Yeah, it's still kind of weird feeling because it's new. But the more I look at it, the couple of times I watched over the weekend and paying attention to it, I was like, these guys that's actually a smart way to do it because
it actually makes sense.
They're getting a chance at a run back. They're getting people that are lined up, ready to block and ready to tackle without causing too much pain on any or too much chance of injury.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, mitigating risk. That's what they're doing. They're mitigating risk.
So okay, go into more the specifics. Why is it like nowadays that the Cowboys suck so bad as opposed to before when they were winning all the time?
Oh, Jerry Jones, all day long. Jerry Jones.
Just this guy.
Yep.
He's Vince McMahoning it.
He's the number one. Yeah, he's Vince McMahon of the Dallas Cowboys.
Give me an example of what he does.
That him and his boy Steven, because Steven is one of the ones underneath. He's the general manager. His boy Steven, I didn't load up a picture of him either because, quite frankly, he's not worth my time or effort. And
who's his boy Steven? What does he do? What's his position?
He's like football operations or some crap like that. Whatever
so
Daddy gave him.
He's like his who was that fucking underling for Vince McMahon? His
the Stooges, Jerry Briscoe, and then that bunch.
No, the guy with the beaver tooth.
Which one?
The Bucktooth guy, the guy who was in charge of production that everyone makes fun of. Oh, god damn it!
Oh, fuck. Johnny Ace.
No,
John Laurinaitis.
No, really, Randy, you don't know who I'm talking about?
Not charge of production. I think of he's talent relations. Really, who Johnny Ace was. So, Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. No, not Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. Production would have been. Dude that did Brother Love. The dude that did Brother Love. What's his name?
Bruce. No. Kevin Dunn.
It was Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't remember? Everyone makes fun of Kevin Dunn for having bucktooth.
Nah, because he never was an on camera guy, so I never paid attention.
But he's like Jerry Jones's Kevin Dunn.
Yeah. Well, either way, what it was is Daddy gave son a job is what it amounts to. So he gets whatever Daddy gave him.
Oh, he's Jerry Jones's son?
Yeah, that's Jerry Jones's son. So needless to say, he's in there. Ain't never done a lick of damn football stuff in their lives until they got the Cowboys. But they're football guys now. 30 years after the fact, they're football guys. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. You're really not. Because you And here we go with I'm getting on this because I swore I'd never talk about it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Here we are this offseason, and we've got Micah Parsons, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Okay. Mm-hmm. He has a quote unquote handshake meeting with him, and it says Jerry thinks that they've got some sort of stupid agreement, and he knows this is not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks that he's got it all locked up. Well, of course, Micah's like, no, it's got to go through the agent. And then they proceed to berate him, kind of backhanded, pissing him off in public, instead of, actually just dealing with the fact and get it done and over with, which Micah Parsons went to him 2 years ago almost and said, hey, I want to be a Cowboy. Let's go ahead and get the extension done. We'll be done with it, right? Well, no, they didn't do that. Not only would they have saved themselves about, probably $100 million at the time, he'd have been locked up through, I think it was 2027 if they'd have done the extension properly. Okay.
Riley says Cowboys are heavy underdogs. That's what I read after their loss to the Eagles.
If they win 5 games this year, I'll be happy. Okay?
Really? It's like that, huh?
Honestly. Well, and it's not just that, because he's not the main reason I'm worried about it. We've got a makeshift running back core, which that kid that started Javonte Williams or whatever his name is, he started the game on Thursday. He looks like he might be a good one to go, but outside of that, I mean, I'm holding out for the rookie Jaden Blue to actually kind of lift him up on the running back side. And we've got George Pickens, who was with the Steelers last year. We've got him. He seems like a decent receiver, but neither one of those receivers caught a damn thing at all on Thursday. And I'm sitting there like, and that will lead me into the other, but let me finish with Parsons first.
Mm-hmm.
They had an opportunity to sign him and get this all done way back when. And he kept pushing it off till this year. And then they just started getting sideways. And Micah had enough of it.
Who kept pushing it off? Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones did. And
okay.
Micah finally said, you know what? I'm done with this crap. Y'all need to trade me now. And finally it worked out to where in early August, he asked for the trade. Oh, no, we're not going to trade him. I was like, y'all going to trade him. He ain't going to stay here. He's not going to play. He's not going to be worth of shit here with us. So you got to trade him. And they traded him. They traded him to a NFC contender, which is the Green Bay Packers. Oh, look, we got 2 first-round picks and this other guy. Okay, you got 2 first-round picks from a contender, which means you're going to be picking somewhere between 25 and 30. That's not a good return for what you gave away.
I thought you were referring to when you said first-round pick, I thought you meant like the first picked. But if they're a contender, that means they get they get later picks.
Yeah, like the Super Bowl champion picks 32 out of 32, So now what do you do about that? Oh, wait, we've got 2 first-round picks. Yeah, you got one at 10 or 11 because that's how bad you were. And now you got one at 20 something, which nobody that you're going to want to get is going to be there. So, yeah, no. If the Cowboys win, Riley, I will gladly eat my words. Gladly. But I will not hold my breath because, quite frankly, what I saw, now we get into the other guy, CeeDee Lamb. Okay? CeeDee Lamb him and Dak Prescott last year just got monster extensions, making them, he's like dang near the top paid wide receiver, and Dak might as well be the top paid quarterback. Ain't won a damn thing in the playoffs yet, but guess
he's
what?
The quarterback?
No, Dak is.
Oh, he's a quarterback. Okay,
that's quarterback. And CeeDee Lamb is a wide receiver. Okay, now CeeDee Lamb, you remember I was talking about this the other day on Facebook because you might as well call him Stonehands. If anybody's ever seen the movie Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula and Sinbad, yeah, they hit this guy in the hands so many times on Thursday that it should have been tattooed on him as many times again. And he dropped almost all of them.
He kept dropping them?
Yeah, literally in the hands. Would go through his hands.
Why is he so good if he's fucking Butterfingers?
I'll tell you exactly why. Same way with all of them right now. That's why this first week always looks like freaking a shit show because no starters play in the preseason nowadays. There's three preseason games. No starters hardly ever play in it, and they come out and they have no game speed. They have no game acumen ready to play at full speed because they don't. All they have is practice reps. That's it. In the old days, you had the 4 games, and this, I say old days, we're probably talking 15 years ago now when it was really the last time it was really done like that. You had the preseason, you had 4 games. That first game of the preseason, your starters started it, and your starters usually played 1 quarter to a quarter and a half to get a little bit of game speed. The second week, a little bit more, but then you started working with the new one, the draft picks and free agents and stuff to see who was going to be fighting to make the team. The third week, you might have got a series maybe out of the starters, and then but once again, all the starters are still playing in every game. Okay. The fourth week, once again, you're talking about a series, and away you go. Then you worried about getting what young kid's going to try and make the team. I see where they went away from it and why they went away from it. Because 10 years ago, Dak Prescott was a third string quarterback. Okay. He comes in as a rookie to the Cowboys. The third game of the preseason, this is before they went to the 3 games versus 4, and Tony Romo gets hurt. Well, his backup is Kellen Moore at the time, and Kellen Moore had a broken leg. Here comes Dak. Dak gets the rest of the work in preseason, wins the starting job, and then goes crazy on the league, because they weren't expecting him. All of a sudden, we've got a 13-3 team in his rookie year. Him, Ezekiel Elliott, they had a triplets going, and Des Bryant was there. Okay.
So there were years that even though the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in a while, there were years where they were doing pretty decent.
They were doing good, and they just blow it in the playoffs. They couldn't win in the playoffs for whatever reason. Tony Romo had another 13-3.
Do you think it's some of it's his fault?
I think some of it could be. I think he likes to second guess things too much. He tries to read too much into it, and then when he gets on the run, he tends to be sloppy with his throws. So, but that's the way it is of the quarterback nowadays in the NFL. They're running for their lives almost if they don't have a great offensive line in front of them. So they've got to. I think the majority of it is just like I said, I would say a lack of discipline, really, more than anything. The discipline that they used to have, because I tell you right now, you could hear stories from Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman all day long about how you messed up in practice and stuff. Jimmy Johnson would absolutely run them in the ground, and I'd berate them, do whatever he had to do to make sure they did it right every single time.
Who's their coach now?
Their coach now is Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh,
first-time coach. Yep, first-time coach. First-time coach. He was the offensive coordinator last year under Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy's contract expired, and they didn't want to give him what he wanted as far as stuff, so he walked away. They hired Brian Schottenheimer, who, once again, never coached. He's always been a coordinator somewhere, but he's the son of a legend in Marty Schottenheimer. He was the one that was behind Kansas City for many, 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 many years. And he was another one.
What's the actual difference between an offensive coordinator and a full-on coach? What does an offensive coordinator do?
Well, he actually runs the offensive game. I mean, he's usually calling the plays, and like now with him being the head coach, there might be an offensive coordinator, but he's not really the offensive coordinator because Schottenheimer's calling the plays. Okay, and that's where you separate.
Wouldn't the coach be calling the plays?
Well, no, usually it's the coordinator's calling the plays. Coach is the one that's maintaining, is kind of managing the entire game, defense and offense.
Oh, and then you have a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you got a defensive coordinator as well, who usually will sit up. Usually, a lot of the defense coordinators sit up in the booth, and they're watching the entire field, so they can see the lay of the land and how the formations are working, and they can devise it up there, and then they can signal it into their guys.
And then I guess the two coordinators are talking back and forth with the coach the whole time, and that's how.
Yeah, they're all on headset together. So,
that's a weird way of running a team.
No, it's 100% the way they do it now. I mean, well, and think about it this way. Back in the 70s and 80s, Tom Landry, when he was running it, there were no you never saw a headset on Tom Landry at all. Okay. A lot of the coordinator or the coaches at that time had headsets. They talked back and forth their coordinators. Landry was a complete totalitarian. He was he was in total control. Yeah, he was a defensive minded guy and he had a defensive coordinator, but he was calling everything. He was telling the offensive coordinator what he wanted him to do. Didn't necessarily come up with the exact play he wanted him to do, but he knew every play that was going in. Because at that time, there weren't no cue cards, there weren't no signals or whatever like that, hand signals. He sent somebody in every play with the play to the actual quarterback. So there was no, hey, we're going to talk on the headset or anything. Like, no, that didn't work like that. So, hey, Riley, actually, I was happy because Josh Allen's my starting quarterback on my fantasy team, and I was very happy with what he did yesterday.
What did Riley say? I predict Bills to win?
Yeah. I do too. They're to me, the way they played yesterday, they're the best team in football, period, bar none. So I would love to see it too, because they're the one of the teams that them and the Lions, I say, would deserve it. You know, more than anything. The Lions ain't never been in the Super Bowl, so I kind of root for them too. But the Bills, poor guys, they lost 4 in a row. They literally lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. So I feel for them.
So what are some other things that this dude did to fuck the team up?
Well, let's see. Just being the wants to be the one in the limelight. You know what I mean? He wants to be the guy that does all the drafts. He wants to be the one that gets credit for this player being this good or this player being that good, and that's all fine and dandy. But the problem is, all his players that he picked, they never have amounted to hardly anything. Dak Prescott was an afterthought, honestly, when he drafted him in I think, 3rd or 4th round. Okay. CeeDee Lamb's the only one that he's drafted in the 1st round. That's, well, him and Des Bryant. Des Bryant did good too. But once again, we're still dealing with, once you get in the playoffs, it becomes a mediocre team out of the blue.
So he really is a lot like Vince McMahon, because see, I
really
know wrestling, and there were guys that Vince McMahon handpicked that didn't amount to much. But then the ones who did well, that Vince McMahon saw nothing in, people like CM Punk.
Yeah. Bryan Danielson.
Brian Danielson. Yeah.
He thinks there's a certain build and stuff that like Vince did. There's a certain build that the big guys are always it. The big guys are always it, and that's just not the case anymore. It's not the case anymore. Now with him, he doesn't even care
with Jimmy Jones or
Jimmy Johnson,
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, what about him? Yeah, he doesn't.
You said with him. I didn't know who you were referring to.
With him, it's more about he wants to prove himself, to make himself look like he's the better football mind out there, and he's just not. He's kind of like a guy named Al Davis, who used to own the Raiders back in the old days, and him and Al Davis were real good friends in the 90s. Okay, that tells you where his mindset is. It's not about whether or not he's right or wrong. It's about whether or not he can force you to admit he's right. You know what I mean? He wants everybody to realize he's the smart one. He's the one that put it all together, and he wasn't.
Where did this guy? What's his background? Like, where did this guy get the money to buy the team? He's an oil
man.
Oh.
Yeah, he was Oklahoma. Him and Jimmy Johnson went to college together at Arkansas, and then they went to school together in Arkansas. And I'm not saying Jerry Jones is a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I would never wish any ill will on anybody like that. Hey, Hookin, how you doing? I would never wish that on anybody.
But he sucks at what he does.
He's 82 years old. I mean, dude, the problem is, if he steps aside, well, I just got his dingbat kid with it that's coming up. I don't, he's no better. He has no freaking, but I will say this about Steven. Now, a few years back, there was a kid coming out named Johnny Manziel. Called him Johnny Football. He won the Heisman, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be the greatest thing in the world." And Jerry Jones was gonna mortgage the farm to go get this kid, in the first round. And literally, from what I heard, Steven and I think it's Will McClay, not Will McClay. I think that's a scout. I can't remember what scout it was. They were literally grabbing him and holding him back so he didn't try and make that call. They were literally holding back because they wanted to get a decent run stopper, which I think they did that year, or it might have been Des Bryant, but I'm not for sure. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but they stopped them from getting that shit show. Thank God. Because that dude lasted about a coffee cup worth in the NFL because he couldn't handle the pressures. He literally became a drunk and blew all his money as fast as he could blow it. So.
All right. So, hold on. Let's see what. Oh, hey there, Tina. So the gay thing didn't really come from anything. It was just they just
fans going at each other.
Fuck with Cowboys fans.
Yep, fans going at each other. I mean, because if you want to see it all the time, because quite frankly, Stephen A. Smith gets out there all the time, and I listen to him a lot because the guy's not no dummy at all. But he likes to mess with Cowboys fans. He's a New Yorker. He loves his Giants. He loves his dadgum Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, Cowboys fans be like, yeah.
So he likes to mess with it. It isn't that he doesn't like the Cowboys per se or the people on the Cowboys. He likes to screw with the fans more than anything else. He just wants to screw with the fans. So, but he had a couple of years ago, Jason Witten retires, goes to Monday Night Football, and he's an analyst there for a year. Then the next year, of course, he's all happy because now he doesn't have to deal with one of the best tight ends in the NFL history going against his teams and stuff. And the next year, Witten comes out of retirement, comes back to the Cowboys, and it's his whole thing the next Monday started out with no. That whole first 10 minutes of his show on First Take, he was just griping because now he had to deal with Witten again.
So Riley says a lot of people say Vince McMahon was way better than Triple H.
I hear that too. Actually, I don't think
here's actually so the more you describe Jerry Jones, because I didn't really know much about him, the more you describe him, the more he does to me sound like Vince McMahon. Like everything you're telling me he does with the Cowboys is like Vince McMahon did with the WWE, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question then, Randy. What's the difference? How are they different from each other? Because they're about the same age, but how are they different from each other?
One's Southern, one's not. That's all I can tell you. Quite frankly, they have their own niche in their own industries, and they both did run in case of Vince McMahon. What his word was law. Whatever he said went. And same thing with Jerry Jones, even to this day. They can gripe, they can complain. If he don't say, go for it, it don't happen. And he said it many times. He said it comes to me. I'm the final word, period. And, so whether it's the right word or not is another story. And as far as McMahon and saying he was better than Triple H, I think there's two different sides of that coin. I mean, it depends on which way you look at it. I think they've expanded kind of maybe a little bit too fast, like with the Netflix stuff, and now going to Paris, going to and because I mean now I got to figure out how to watch WrestlePalooza because it's not on my Peacock no more. I'm gonna be pissed about it too.
You're gonna have to get like fucking like some Disney package. That's fucking.
Well, and I don't know if it's going to be on that version of the ESPN app or what. It's still very unclear to me. So
speaking of having to get a fucking Disney package just to watch WWE wrestling.
Why are you gay?
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I like my Disney. I got Disney. See, I've got Disney and Hulu already. Now Hulu's going to go. That whole app is going to go away in the next year. And they're going to be part of the Disney app. You have to watch Hulu stuff through Disney. And I'm like, I kind of like my Hulu because the one I got, I pay for the ad free on Hulu. So when I get my Disney, at one point I got a bundle, and I bundled Hulu, ESPN, and Disney all together, and they just reimbursed me the added like the version of Hulu with ads.
Yeah.
They just cut that off the price, because that would have been the one that they offered. It's okay, you don't need it. We're not going to put it on there, but you've already got it, and we'll bundle these two on it with it. So you know what I mean? So like, okay, that's kind of cool. And
Riley's
I had
asking,
it for a while.
McMahon's still the board member, or does he have any say? Does he have any say in the
No.
WWE now? No.
Nope.
No,
I think he still has stock. I think he still has some stock.
He's he's got stock, but I think they bought him out.
He don't have any say. Yeah. He doesn't have enough to weigh in any opinions or power. So.
Man, what a way for him to go out, right? I bet you he never would have thought.
Oh, last I heard, he was getting ready to start another promotion.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he pulls it off. I kind of be interested to see what he does.
At that age, man.
Well, and he ain't out of the woods on his little lawsuits yet either, though.
Yeah.
So.
Don't be doing that shit, man.
No, I mean, don't do it and with stuff you got to pay somebody an NDA. It's one thing to kind of do it, but it's another thing to do it to levels that, hey, you're implicating other people now. You're costing other people their lives, their livelihoods and such. Because I was surprised as hell at first when Brock Lesnar came back, but then I read that he had been completely exonerated of everything on there because his name was never mentioned or whatever, and so forth. So on. He was removed from any and all. So I kind of figured he was coming back, and I figured they were going to push him for John Cena's last opponent, that's what they did. So.
Yep. So the other team that everyone makes fun of for being gay is the Minnesota Vikings, right? Because they came out with that thing where they had those two dudes in the cheerleading squad.
Yeah, that was hilarious, though. I laughed my butt off of that.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, it's funny. It's funny, and people get butthurt over crap like that for some reason.
Yeah, I don't care. I think I don't care, but man, they must get so much shit from like other teams' fans.
Yeah.
Man, the shit they must get.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? That's the thing. That's the good thing about it. Most fans, except for Philly fans, because they're assholes. Most fans, because I'll say it like this. I went to a game when I was stationed in D.C. at Fort Belvoir. I went to a game at FedEx Field. FedEx Field had just been built probably a couple years prior to see the Redskins at the time versus the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And I am in my blue and everything, literally I'm in a sea of red, and we were talking shit back and forth. There were no fights. We were just talking shit back and forth to each other. Okay. Didn't think nothing about it. That was one of the ones that the Cowboys decided to phone in. Okay.
Yeah.
By the end of the first quarter, we were down 27-3. By the end of the half, it was like 35-3 or some crap like that. Dallas just didn't even show up to play at all. To the point that the other fans, the Redskins fans, they'd be sitting there talking shit to the man. And they pat me on the shoulder. Dude, we didn't even know it was going to be this bad.
Yeah.
This is just horrible. We're sorry for you on now.
Are the Vikings in the same? They're not in the same league with the Eagles, right?
No, they're in a different division than the Cowboys, the Giants, division? The Commanders, and the Eagles are in the NFC East, and the Minnesota Vikings are in the NFC North with Detroit, Green Bay. Dang, my mind just went blank. Detroit, Green Bay. I'll remember in a minute. I'm trying to remember. Damn if I can remember.
No,
I don't know who's in.
Now you're pissed. Now you're going to Google.
You dang right I am. NFC North. Who's in it? Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. Packers. That was the other one. Bears, Lions, and Packers. And Vikings. So that's your NFC North. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's why Rob was mad at us for trading Micah Parsons to him, because he knew Micah Parsons was going to beat up on his Lions on week 1. So, and getting back to McMahon, he never had anybody to even try and second guess him. He never had anybody to kind of question his authority from the time he bought it from his dad. Back in the '80s. Jerry Jones did. That's one of the reasons that Jimmy Johnson left after that second Super Bowl. Because he saw him as a threat to his authority. I honestly believe that he saw him as a threat to his authority, but I think Jimmy walked away because I'm not going to deal with this BS no more. I don't have to.
Kind of like how he treated Jim Ross.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he shit all over
Jim. There's a lot of parallels in the whole Cowboys thing into WWE.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, and speaking of wrestling, now that we're thinking about it for a few seconds, you didn't watch the Iron Claw movie, right?
I did.
Did you finally watch a
review of it? Remember?
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
Well, I forget who. Somebody said they hadn't watched it, but anyway, if you get a chance, there's a thing called Hollywood Demons on Hulu. It's a docu-series type thing where they talk about. There's one full episode that is full of nothing but the Von Erich stuff, but it talks to the family after the Iron Claw came out. And it turns out when they started doing the Iron Claw movie, which I thought the family was involved with from the get-go, no, they didn't know about it till the ball was already rolling. They didn't come to Kevin till well after this thing was being made.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. He did not approve of them kind of combining Mike and Chris together. He said, this isn't the way it works. And Carrie's daughters, Lacey and I can't remember the other girl's name. They were on there, and Kevin's daughter were on there, and they didn't have the boys at all other than Kevin. Didn't have his sons on there, but you had these others that were sitting there going, nah, this is what really happened. We're going to put this straight around. And you can see all the women in the family going, yeah, they're like ruffled hens. They're ready to get it on now because they thought
what were some of the scenes they had the biggest problem with?
Well, the scene with about the Carrie's foot, the scenes where it talked about Kevin, having issues with was Ric Flair? Yeah, the Ric Flair scenes, and then the whole deals with Mike and Chris not being portrayed right. And I mean, there was a whole bunch of it that they were going back and forth about, and talk about Fritz because Fritz was villainized in the movie. He really was villainized, and they said he wasn't like that at all. He said straight out. Now, of course, boys are going to want to follow their dad like in something like that. The vast majority would. But they said, as far as this pitting them against each other and trying to cause issues and stuff like that,
exploiting them emotionally,
exactly.
Yeah, no, they did make him out to look like an asshole. I think I did read somewhere where that was the thing that Kevin had the biggest problem with because it made his dad look
and
like
the girls. But this little documentary, holy crap! Night, Mickey. I mean, this whole documentary, I was like, man, these girls, they stepping up for the family on this one. They're ready to go at it with these people now. So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
But
yeah, man. Oh, Ric Flair hated Cena. No,
I did not know that. Of course, Ric Flair hates anybody that isn't Ric Flair, pretty much. So
he's got his buddies, but yeah.
Yeah, but you thought Art Anderson was his buddy for years, and they don't even speak now. But then again, Ric Flair's turned himself into a shell of what he was. He turned himself into a comic. I mean, he's literally a comic act because he literally he believes his own hype to this day. I don't know. The dude should have stopped a long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Even before that match against Shawn Michaels. But anyway, yeah.
So I don't know. Do you want to keep it under an hour, Randy? I'm getting kind of tired.
I mean, you got to go to work. I got to go to work, and we're gonna be rehashing this stuff. We may look at like 8 or something on Sunday nights after Selena gets done or some crap like that, and try it like that and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll figure. We're still.
Monica's going to be at 10. We just move up instead.
Yeah.
And then I hope Monica listens to this. Monica, you can't push me around. Just remember that. You can't push me around. I will go pay the dadgum protection money.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's fucking Monday night, man. I need to get my sleep.
Yeah, the only thing that would happen really good on Monday night is just to go over stuff like, what happened on Raw, which AJ Lee is back.
Yay.
I was a happy camper when I saw it on Friday night.
She needs to get that ring rust off, though.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a lot of that.
Yeah. Oh, I imagine, but they'll work that out before it ever happens.
Yeah.
You have a good night, too, Riley.
All right, guys.
Keep the mooses at bay.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us yap about the Dallas Cowboys. And remember...
Why are you gay?
The boys.
All right. Peace out, folks.
Yeah.
Take me out to see that game with all the balls, or to the wrestling ring best out of 3 falls. Donny and Randy talking wrestling and sports. We're talking the ball pit. It's the best, of course, 'cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. Donny and Randy, they freaking called it, 'cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. There's no better podcast, they're all shit. Rob watches the Lions every Sunday night. Who even know which team Paul supposedly likes? Tex likes the Cowboys, it's his only shortfall. Jason McLean, just a fan of sports ball. 'Cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. Donny and Randy, they freaking called it. 'Cause it's the ball pit, the ball pit. There's no better podcast, they're all shit. With Randy Gilbert as our YouTube sports guy. Donny Cho knows shit about sports, but he'll try. Donny only knows wrestling and MMA. Together these two for the USA.